Hey everybody, welcome. Your lip is all messed up. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of 60 Formula. Hope you're doing well today. What's up, Britney Spears? Why are you so happy? There's a hurricane coming. You're not supposed to be all happy. So today's video is tailored and made for all of you who are about to brace for Hurricane Dorian. Or in case you have a Doggeroni pizza and you're preparing for emergency situations, this video is gonna be the one for you. But mostly it's just for your dog. I know most of us have dogs at home, and when it comes to emergencies, when it comes to things like crazy giant hurricanes or earthquakes, firestorms or floods, you want to make sure that you have the best plan put in play for you and your very best friend. So today, we're going to be talking about what kind of steps you should take, 5 steps in fact, to help you get prepared with your pepperoni pizza and make sure you're both safe. There's nothing more important in the whole world than your best friend. Well, maybe like a case of beer. But other than that, your Doggeroni pizza should be number 1 next to you and loved ones. Look at Britney Spears. He's like, I'm always ready for an emergency, my brother. So come with us, will you, on another episode of 60 Formula where we talk about 5 ways you can prepare for an emergency to keep you and your Doggeroni pizza super duper mega safe. Are you ready? Yeah, I'm saying, are you ready for the episode to start? The episode's about to start. Let's do it. Alright, so if you live on the East Coast, you've probably been sitting around for the last couple days just looking at Hurricane Dorian going, dude, where in the world are you headed? I'm sure everybody knows that at this point it's a Category 4, which if you didn't know stands for Run for Your Life. No, I'm just kidding. It's important not to panic, and you shouldn't make your doggos feel like you're in a panicked mood, because dogs can pick up on that kind of thing. Dang, girl, you are really enjoying that toy this morning, aren't you? I have not seen a face like that in a while. So the first thing that we're going to go over when it comes to making a plan for your doggos is going to be include them in whatever plans you make for yourself. This is like the number 1 most important thing ever. Do not leave them behind. That is the number 1 rule that you have to write in your emergency plan is do not leave my animal at home. Do not leave your doggo at home. Do not take them to a shelter and then abandon them at the shelter. Don't do that. If you have to leave, if you gotta get out of your house because Hurricane Dorian is slamming on your front door going, I'm gonna ebity blow this house down, well then you go ahead, get in your car and drive somewhere and bring your dogs with you. Do not leave your dogs. That's the number 1 rule. So now that we know that, we can begin to make a comprehensive emergency guide for your best friend. Look at her. She's like, I don't want to make no emergency guide. That's boring. Why do hurricanes have to be so boring, Daddy-o? You better give me that. You better give me that. You better give me that. Oh, look what I started. Look what I started. Why do I always got to go and start the trubs? Why do I always have to start the trubs? So now that you got your plan all written out, you know exactly where you're going to go, what you're going to do, and now you're going to bring your best friend with you, the second thing you need to do is focus on safety supplies. Now these are safety supplies for your dog specifically to make sure that they are a-okay during an emergency. Now we typically have a big old pack, but I basically just threw everything together for you right here just so you could see some stuff. We got a first aid kit so we can make sure that if our dogs do get hurt, we're able to patch them up right away. I threw in a couple of safety jackets right here because you never know. Maybe a whole wall of water might Jumanji right through your house and you gotta be like, oh my goodness! Life jackets are one of the best things to have prepared for your doggos. So make sure that you get things like this. Get LED collars. Get all sorts of snacks. Look, we got all sorts of good stuff in here. Patches, alcohol wipes, things that will help us just in case our best friend gets hurt. You never know, in times of emergency, places are mostly closed and you might not be able to find a lot of these things when CVS and Walgreens is all closed up. Excuse me, miss, it's not an emergency right now. It's not an emergency right now. Make sure you got plenty of leashes and poop bags all set up. Equipment is some of the best stuff that you need for keeping your pup safe during a hurricane. Now I'm just gonna throw this into supplies because you should always double up on it during an emergency. Get a bunch of food. Don't skimp out on food. Get a whole bunch of it. Don't go get like a tiny little baby bag of it. You might not be able to go to the store for several days. Expect for a week of closures or power outages and make sure that you got all the necessary items all the necessary food, and that brings us to numero 3, which is probably one of the most important things that you need to get prepared for your pepperoni pizza. He's like, I'm a French bread pepperoni pizza. You're not from France. The next thing you want to do is grab yourself a bucket. Now, I generally get a large bucket. This bucket was like a couple bucks from Pep Boys. I might have even gotten it for free. But what you want to do is you want to fill up a Pep Boys bucket of water. Water is the number 3 most important thing you need to make sure that you got for your pepperoni pizza whenever an emergency is happening. It is possible that water will become hard to get, especially during a hurricane. I know what most people are thinking, dude, doesn't a hurricane like unleash tons of water? Why would you need to get more of it? Well, not only do you need to grab a bucket of water so that you can use the bathroom or use it for miscellaneous purposes, but it's a good idea to have water on the side just in case your doggeroni pizzas need to be cleaned off for some reason, or if they're thirsty, you can always just fill up their water bowl with the water that you got in the bucket. Now, I know water from a bucket isn't like the cleanest, most sterile water, and hopefully this will only be for a few days. So don't like put weird stuff in the water. Just make sure that it's normal so that you can use it for drinking water for both you and your very best friend. All right, so now you got a plan for your dog just in case you gotta escape. You got them a bucket of water just in case they get thirsty or need to be cleaned down. And we have a whole pack of supplies for your Husky just in case they find themselves in a dangerous situation. So what else could you possibly need? Well, here's a couple more things that are definitely gonna help you out if you find yourself in the face of an emergency. So we haven't really talked about where your doggos are gonna go potty in case there's an emergency. I mean, sometimes you can't go outside during a hurricane because it doesn't look this beautiful outside. There's like cows flying around, there's things flying through the sky at 100 miles per hour. So look at this, check this out. I know this is weird and deflated and it looks crazy because it's been out in the sun, but this right here is basically an inside out kiddie pool. I just gotta do a judo chop to the middle of it to make it back to the way it was. Hi-ya! That didn't work. The best way to get your doggo to use the bathroom during a hurricane or an emergency is to take a kiddie pool, go and throw it in your garage and fill it up with as much grass and sod as you can. Now, I know most of you are thinking like, hey, I ain't got time to go and grab a kiddie pool and stick a whole bunch of grass in it. Well, just for your FYI, a pool at Walmart is super cheap, and I'm pretty sure that you can get sod for the same price as ramen noodles. They're like 30 cents for 800 pallets. If you take that pool and you fill it up with sod and you put it in your garage or someplace safe where there's not a lot of rain, you can let your doggo use the bathroom during a hurricane. Now, I know this is a widely known tactic and a lot of people do it, and it's not the easiest thing in the world, but think about it. If you make a pool with a little bit of sod in it and you let your dog go out and use the potty, it's gonna be way easier than watching your dog like fly around and be like, oh no, try and stand up while there's 900 million mile per hour winds. And then later on, when the storm is over and the emergency has passed, all you gotta do is go outside, grab a baggie, or empty that pool into the garbage, and all of your dog's business is instantly gone. We don't want you risking your doggo's life out in the storm. If there's gale force winds outside, it's not a good idea to try and let your dog go potty when like fences and pine needles and all sorts of crazy things could be flying around, and that's mega dangerous. So do yourself a favor, if you are expecting to have high winds, we definitely suggest that you get a kiddie pool, fill it up with some sod, and let your doggeroni pizza go to the bathroom in class. And last but not least, the last thing we want to go over when it comes to dealing with crazy emergencies and hurricanes like Mr. Dorian out there, make sure that you are entertaining your dogs as much as possible. Make sure that you're stimulating their minds because doggos, especially Huskies, they need a lot of exercise. And during emergencies, you're not always able to go outside and give them the exercise that they need. So practice tug of war, practice doing some fetch. Don't let them just sleep like a big old log on your floor for a few days. Make sure you're getting them involved in whatever you're doing and having a good old time. And that's gonna be the last numero 5 tip that we have for you. A couple bonus tips: never let your dog outside without a leash or a collar when there's a hurricane. They could get spooked or get scared. And everything that we've applied today, guess what? It applies to itty bitty kitty committees as well. Cats are more than likely than dogs to bolt out of doors during storms. They get really scared, they want to find places to hide. Make sure that you're keeping your cat comfortable, and if you have to, go ahead and put on some soothing cat music or doggo music. You can find it all on YouTube, and if you don't believe me, go ahead and search it there. Now trust us, this is not our first hurricane that we've been through with the Siberian Huskies. If you guys are interested in seeing more about what we've gone through, we'll link videos down below where we had to evacuate last year, go to a hotel. I brought both the Siberian Huskies to a hotel. If you've been with us long enough, you probably remember. I'm gonna be doing my best to bring you guys with updates every single day, but I don't know if we're gonna lose power or lose the internet, so it may be possible that you may not hear from us for a day or two. But I'm going to do the best I can to make sure. What do you see out there, Britney Spears? I'm gonna do my best to make sure that we bring you updates every single second, showing you guys the storms, showing you guys the dog's reaction to the storms, and how we fare through it. If you guys have plans or items that you think are necessary that we didn't mention in this video to prepare for a hurricane or any natural disaster, go ahead and leave it in the comments down below. We'd love to hear. Britney Spears is like, yeah, I wanna know. I want to know all the secret ways to avoid a storm. We hope this helped you guys figure out what you got to do, the steps that you have to take to make sure that your best friend is safe during Hurricane Dorian or any natural disaster. Remember, never leave your Doggeroni pizza at home. Don't ever leave without them during a storm. That's going to be it. And we'll see you next time with another episode of Guess What? Yup. Whatever we make. Peace. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-